Hello, friends. It's time for Talk Fort Dodge, the show that uncovers the stories behind the houses in the heart of our community. I'm Jeremiahjcondon.
And I'm Todd McCubbin. Today we are here with Jeff Frevert from Sports Park Raceway and Auto Drive. So two different things here, but today we want to concentrate on Sports Park Raceway. But before we get into that, let's do a quick market update. What's going on, Jeremiah?
Market update. Things are a little slow the last 2-3 weeks. Interest rates climbing. Be really nice to see them come back down.
Yes, it would.
There's been kind of a pause, but if houses are priced right, they are still selling. According to last year, we're pretty much even in all the categories except for the average sales is still like 30,000 higher than they were last year.
Yep, and we talk about that a lot. I mean, there's reasons for that, but let's just take it. And it is nice to know we're still at the same amount of sales as last year because sometimes it seems like we really slowed down.
Yep.
And it also feels like there's more houses on the market now than there has been.
Well, there is. That is the one significant difference. Is last year at this time there's 321 and there's 378 now.
So we are up, 10%? 20%. I'm trying to do math in my head, which is hard.
17.76.
See, that's pretty good. I average those out. You get there.
You are just a mathematician there.
I don't know, I guess.
I pulled up some numbers from 5 years ago.
Okay.
Beginning of 2019. And we had 196 sales at that year, and we're at 192 this year. So 5 years ago, we're like the same.
Wow, for all year.
For all year.
Moving twice as fast.
No, up to the state.
Oh, up to the state.
Up till June 4th.
So we're on par. We're on target. Yeah. I'll take it.
There you go. Okay, featured house.
Nice. We just walked through it.
It's $399,900, 161 Parkwood Circle. The house is awesome.
It is cool.
It's out in the country club. It is 2,164 square feet, 1,557 on the main level. Brand new kitchen, brand new bathrooms.
3-car garage and somewhere for the golf cart, which I thought was pretty cool. You can go all three cars, and then so you can have two toys, the golf cart or a side-by-side.
Yeah, like if you are a car guy, you might be able to fit 4 cars in there.
Yeah, if you try hard, yeah.
Yeah, you could.
Or 3 in a side-by-side.
Yep.
Smart car.
Yeah.
Yeah, smart car.
Mm-hmm.
You ever sold a smart car?
And if you don't like cars at all,
Twice.
you could have it as a workshop.
Oh, there you go.
Or like a little, I don't know, whatever you do in workshops.
You can put your crafting back there.
Yeah. Wood crafting, coupon crafting.
There you go.
So anyway, really cool house. Look it up.
It is. And just want to take a minute. This last Saturday, Jeremiah and I had the privilege of interviewing Audie Crooks at Frontier Days. And if you get a chance, go back to that bonus episode and listen to that interview with Audie Crooks. It wasn't real long, but she is just a joy to be around and talk to. And just kind of the stories, and
I'm her new biggest fan.
Yeah.
At the parade, my daughters were wearing the Audi shirt, and she came up to them because they were wearing the shirt and gave them an extra treat. And they were just so excited. So right afterwards, they're like, "Oh my gosh, Audie talked to us, and she was so cool." And then they sat right there in the front and then talked to her again. And then when we were walking around, Audie was walking around.
I saw your pictures.
They ran up to her again. It's like, okay, we need to leave her alone. Like, you're stalking her now, But every time she was like, "Oh, hi, girls."
And if you're going to feel short, Audie's 6'3", and I'm 6-ish maybe. And I wore boots, so I felt a little taller. And I'm still like, oh my gosh, this girl is tall. But it's fun, and she's just kind.
She's very, very down to earth, and you just tell that.
And she played her guitar for us.
Mm-hmm.
And quick story about that. I'm like, "Hey, Audie, you want to play the guitar? I bought a guitar just so you can play it, and then you can sign it." And she goes, "Yes, but I just got new nails." And she immediately started taking her nails off so she could play the guitar. I'm like, "No, I feel like I got to send you money for the nails."
And girls, when they get their nails done, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And she just ripped them off without.
And she's in front of the camera all the time, so that's important to her. So I was just so impressed by, what, her heart drives what she does. And I think that follows her from the basketball court to school to how she deals with the public. And
I was just thinking, like, I bet you she's a great teammate.
Oh, she has to be. And she cares about everybody.
Has to be great.
And if you get somebody that cares and part of that team, and I think that's part of their success is how they're a team and how they work together. So,
all right, enough about Audie, and let's talk Jeff.
Jeff, tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm Jeff Frevert. I own and operate Sports Park Raceway on the west side of Fort Dodge. We do circle track racing, half-mile dirt track. We run USRA sanctioning and usually anywhere from 5 to 9 classes a night.
Okay. Fun.
What are the classes? I mean, you start from the little. I always kind of wanted to get one of the little dinky Dodge Neons and drive it around the track just because it looks like a go-kart. But what kind of are the different classes that you run?
The beginner class is a tuner class, which is 4-cylinder cars. Pretty much anything you can run as long as it's 4-cylinder. Next step up is new to us this year. We call it the Sports Park Raceway 4.6 class, and that's basically Crown Victorias, the old cop cars that they knock the windows out, throw a roll cage in, and race them around. And we've had 14 of those attending, and they're kind of fun and just very inexpensive and down to earth to run.
So what happens when they break down? Are they just done?
Well,
you knock the windows out of another one.
Yeah, these guys kind of keep them living. That there's 3 or 4 of them that are very bright colored. They got nice race car themed wraps. They got a different nose, tail on them that they look more like a race car than a traditional Crown Victoria or Crown Vic as they call them. Anything that's a 4.6 Ford motor, rear wheel drive can run. So there's other versions of that. I think you could even drive a Mustang 4.6 rear wheel drive if you wanted to, but they're maybe a little smaller, not quite the length, don't drift around the corners quite as well. So that's been popular class. We have a nostalgia series group that comes with us to race, and they have ex-race cars, old cars. There is a beautiful Terminator stock car with a 68 Camaro body on it that races.
Wow.
And yeah, it's a top-of-the-line stock car with an old body on it, and an older gentleman drives it, and he just has a blast. So I usually get 10 to maybe 18 of those, and they look a lot different than our regular A mods, B mods, stock cars, that kind of stuff. So those guys have been coming out this Saturday. It's going to be our second Saturday racing on a Saturday. We're normally a Friday night racetrack, but this year we swapped to Saturday nights. This coming Saturday, we have the Carl Chevrolet dirt trucks coming. They're
cool.
Truck-looking race car. And I have one personally, a couple local gentlemen, Miles McHale, Brandon Tofty race. They're just a lot of fun to watch. And
So you driving, or do you have a driver do it for you?
I own 2 trucks. I drive one. Miles McHale drives my second truck. Miles has been a great driver over the years, and he's in the top of our stock car class currently.
So who wins?
Well, I haven't run the dirt truck officially yet this year. That we've had a couple of rainouts. My son plays some baseball, so sometimes I miss the races. So this Saturday I will be there. Miles will be there. Like I said, Brandon Tofty, he lives in Otho. He bought a truck from me here last year, and he'll be racing. And I think there's 14 trucks, and they're pretty consistent in making every race. So they'll be out there this Saturday, and they're a lot of fun to watch. They sound a little different than your traditional race car just because they require the exhaust to go out the back or at least behind the driver. So they have a little different tune to them. And then our USRA classes, we have a tuner class, a B-mod class, a modified class, stock cars, and hobby stocks. So we'll be running 8 classes this week.
So you kind of answered one of the questions I was going to ask is, like, how many cars race at a time? And you kind of said like 12 to 18-ish.
And car counts have been down all over. And we've actually been up this year compared to our average last year, that if you can get 8 of them out there at any time, you have a pretty nice race. Okay. Hamilton County this past Thursday, they had 3 late models. It was an excellent race from the 3 cars. But then I've seen a 20-car race where somebody runs away with it and there's no excitement. So
yeah,
if you can get 10 of them out there that they're pretty aggressive, you always have a nice race. Could be more, could be less. If you get more, sometimes you start having some wrecks.
Right.
And if you have wrecks, crashes, somebody breaks down and you tow them off, and that's
nobody's happy when there's a wreck.
Well, sometimes the people in the stand sure enjoy that wreck.
They're not paying for it.
Yeah. As a car owner, I see the wreck and it's like, oh no, that hurts.
That's going to be expensive.
But the people in the stands like, oh yeah, that was a hard wreck. I was like, yeah, that wasn't good. Oh, that was great. So depending on your point of view,
everybody's okay. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
That was always my first question. Is anybody hurt? No. Oh, that was cool to watch.
And we haven't had, since I've owned the track, we haven't had an on-track injury yet. I mean, people get maybe get their bell rung if they hit hard, but most of the time when you're pretty much all going the same way, going around the corner, you rub and bump and nothing happens, and
It's
you
a
come
dangerous
off.
sport.
It is, but it's.
I mean,
We also
sorry,
do
no.
motocross races out there a couple times a year, and those guys are 20 feet in the air jumping across something that I see more injuries and broken fingers, wrists out of that. But the race cars, you're in a cage, you have a helmet, you're strapped in pretty tight. That I rolled a stock car back in the day, and I was hanging upside down thinking that really wasn't too bad. I was upside down. I didn't want to scratch my helmet. So as I let
It's going to hurt worse getting these scrapes out of the door later.
Yeah, it didn't do the car any good, but didn't bother me much at all. So, yeah, I think it's pretty safe being in the car. Again, it's a big wide track.
There's a lot of room to get around people, and that's a good thing and a bad thing. It changes how you race, and also it's a half-mile track where most other tracks are 3/8.
Mm-hmm.
So, do drivers still? I know when we were involved with it, they'd always say that's a half mile. Everybody else is 3/8. I got to change gears and do all this stuff. Is that still something people do, or with USRA versus the other ones?
The Fort Dodge track and the Hamilton County Webster City track are very similar in their top line, how far they are around. So not much of a gear change. As the cars get more modern, the gear changes are simpler depending on what class you're running. Guys like the short track because to a point you're not going very fast. If something happens, it doesn't hit that hard. But the guys that want to go fast, that really enjoy close to 100-mile-an-hour speeds, if you're in an A-mod or a dirt truck, they're over 100. You're moving right along, and the adrenaline rush is huge. So, but it takes a different skill to run 90-plus into a corner and hope your car is going to stick.
When is it going to be smooth enough that I could take my car around it at 100 miles an hour?
I've had the track very smooth this year. I've done all the track prep 100% myself this year, watered it. Nobody else touched it but myself personally. I love how it's come out. It is.
Didn't you put some new dirt on it last fall, too, to help keep some of the dust down so some of that goes away?
Yep, we put some fresh dirt in it. It was farm fresh dirt, had a little grass mixture in it, and it's settled the water. Not so much dust this year. Traction has been excellent. That I love the place, so I go out there. I think it's beautiful. I just get a smile on my face and sure enjoy it. We haven't had hardly any complaints about track being rough this year. Grandstands look good. We fertilized it. We've mowed it. It looks beautiful.
Any bugs out there?
There's
not
always
a single
bugs.
One, not one bug. Just go out there.
I haven't had a bug at my house for 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden last weekend, they all just came to life.
I was showing a house yesterday, and they wanted to look at the lawn, and I'm like this the whole time, swatting stuff, and I'm like, I think they just love me. And somebody goes, no, they're just bad. Well, with all the rain, you can imagine the skeeters are terrible. But, yeah, bring off, but don't not go because of the bugs. I mean, some off will keep them away. And, you know.
And when it gets bad, I usually put down a bug repellent, and that seems to help. We have maybe 8, 10, 12 families of geese. They are great with the bugs.
Awesome.
They cruise through there. I wouldn't say they're friendly. They're not mean, but they're not really scared of you. You
So
get 15,
just
20
leave 'em
feet.
alone.
You ever seen a mean goose? They're that's scary.
Yeah, they're when many of the families have 4 to 10 goslings with them. Mama goose is just not very happy with you.
No,
so as you
get
get
it.
close, she's tolerant up till about 15 feet, and then she slows up and looks back at you. You better think twice to get close
I'll
to
go
her.
the other direction.
But yeah, I watch them go through the grass, and they get a lot of bugs.
It's like, do your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. The geese are great for they're like I said, there was some on the trail, and I was riding the bike trails with my wife, and Joyce was like, there's all these geese, and I'm like, just don't look at them. And put your bike, because we have e-bikes, and I'm like, put it on turbo so we can go fast just in case. You can outrun this goose. So then there was a dead end. At the end, there was a tree down, so we had to turn around. She goes, are you telling me we have to drive through these geese again? I'm like, yep, just keep your head down and go fast. We'll be fine.
And these geese, they're not scared of the equipment. The road grader, the packer, the trucks, don't bother them a bit. As you walk and get close, they they'll hustle out of the way.
And on race day, they're down by the ponds. You're not down by them anyway, so.
Yeah, they'll sit out in the ponds in the middle, and the race cars run around.
Watch the cars.
Yeah.
When I was down at UNI, the squirrels on campus, they would just like walk on the road or like the walkway and just stop. And like literally people would just walk around squirrels. It was hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny. So I did want to ask, when I was really involved, races were always on Friday nights, and I always got this thing, you should do it on Saturdays, you should do it on Saturdays, but I'm like, I can't compete with some of these other Saturday tracks. But it sounds like you actually worked something out this year to make a couple of Saturdays work. Can you tell us a little bit about that, why, and how it's working so far?
Yes. Again, we're USRA sanctioned. Webster City, the Hamilton County Speedway, is also USRA. Mason City Speedway is USRA, and Fairmont is USRA. So Webster City decided they wanted to go to a Thursday night show. I think they work with the downtown market a little bit, hope some people go to the market and come out to the races. Fairmont has always run Friday, so I competed with Fairmont a little bit. That's always tough. So Fairmont and I worked out kind of a shared points fund that if you're a Minnesota driver, you go up there on Fridays. Saturdays, you come to us. Sunday, then you could go up to Mason City and race USRA. So in this area, we're always looking for drivers. We're always looking for fans. But we try and get people to race Thursday night, Webster City. Friday night up to Fairmont. We share points fund with Fairmont, so those drivers will come back down to see us on Saturday. And then Sunday, you can race Mason City. So if you are a USRA sanctioned car, you could race 4 nights a week, and depending on where you fit in the mix, location-wise, you might not have to drive more than an hour.
So you can go home each night, and you're not getting a hotel or trying to stay somewhere or stay in the. I've seen a couple with some pretty nice campers, but there's not a whole lot of them.
And there's some guys that come in a beautiful hauler, and there's some guys that come in an open trailer. But yes, I guess as far as racing locally, again, depending where you live in that mix. From Fort Dodge, say, you never drive much over hour and a half. Mason City, hour and a half. Fairmont, 20 minutes to Webster City. If you're Webster City, 20 minutes to Fort Dodge. So yeah, it's had a lot of guys racing more and staying local and choosing where they want to go. So
when we talk about local drivers, I'm sure we have a lot of local drivers or whatever, but do you have a lot of drivers come from other places? And if so, like how far away? Because you just mentioned something about Minnesota.
When we do the shared points fund with Minnesota, Fairmont Raceway, we get 10, 12 racers that traditionally come down from that area, race with us. I think we have 10 racers here locally that will race with them. And, we love to see them travel back and forth, hit different tracks. Fairmont is a big half mile like we are, so there's not much of a gear change. Webster City's a big half mile as well. Mason City's a little shorter, but many times these guys have the Sunday morning to change their gear and get up there. But kind of depending on what you have going on for the weekend, if you want to race 2 weeks or 2 days out of the week, you can hit Webster City, come over to Fort Dodge on Saturday. You could hit Fairmont, Mason City on Sunday. It just works out well for our racers. Plus, our competing sanctioning body is IMCA. You can race over in Alta on a Wednesday night. Thursday night is Algona. Friday night's Britt. Saturday's Boone. So we're trying to compete with that sanctioning body and keep cars in our group and allowing them to race as much or as little as they want to.
Okay. Perfect. Tell us a little bit about points. So there's USRA points and there's track points, or are they all combined now? How does that work?
And we have a track point system, so where anybody that races our track, we keep track points there. If you race a USRA track, which we are one of them, you earn USRA points. So we have several drivers that like to chase USRA points, so they race 4 times a week as much as they can. Obviously, the better you do, the more points you earn. But then there is a mix on how many people are there. So when you talk about a full car count, if you should win a feature race in front of 24 cars, you earn more points than winning a feature race in front of 6 cars.
Okay. So it kind of drives the car count a little bit, but at the same time, it sounds like, you've kind of got your circuit with everybody here that they can do, 4 tracks, 4 nights a week if they are going to chase those points. Just getting and keeping it local so it's not so expensive.
Yeah, and we'd love to see more tracks go to a USRA sanctioning body because people want to race USRA. And there's slight differences between an IMCA car and a USRA car. I think owning a USRA car is more financially feasible. I just think it's more in tune with the drivers, and repair costs are slightly less. Maintenance is a little bit less, but they're also faster cars. A USRA mod or a USRA A-mod car, I mean, that's a top-level open-wheel car. Those guys are skilled. I mean, they're running 100-plus mile an hour at my place. Here in Fort Dodge, Webster City is very similar, that those guys are expert drivers, and they're getting with it. An IMCA modified, I think they're slightly slower. They come race with us, and sometimes it's hard for them to hang in there.
What would you say, like, the top speed has been hit on your racetrack? Like, I know you probably can't say an exact answer, but...
Well, you can time they don't have, race cars don't have speedometers. So what I always did is time the half mile. And when you time the half mile, what's the fastest you've seen? I mean, you got to do the math, and math is hard, but...
Well, I'm just guessing, is it like 100, 120, 150, 200,
The A-mods, I think, are a little over 100 at the end of the straightaway. Probably the Carl Chevrolet dirt truck, it runs a similar time to a A-mod, that it's probably a little over 100. Yes, we do lap time. So we have a transponder that...
What is a good lap time? What's fast and what's average?
Depending on which class. Every class is a little different. So if you're running a stock car and you have a 26-second lap time, you're probably a little slow. You're on a 24-second lap time, you're average. If you can get down 22, 23, you're leading the field.
Cool.
But then it changes. If I have the track, it's damp, wet,
Weather
we call
conditions.
it. Yeah, they call it a heavy track. It's got a lot of moisture in it. Your tires bite in real well. You go faster, so sometimes you can look at the lap times and I can say, oh, that was a heavy track last night. If it's really dry, which equals dusty, which spectators don't always like, but a dry track, your tires don't bite in so well. So
you probably haven't had that problem this year too much.
I've watered the track every week, that I come out in the morning, it's like, oh no, it's going to be too wet, so I'm working on it, and it dries out, and then out come the water trucks.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
I have never, in my time of promoting, owning the track, not put water down. It's never happened. And on some hot July days, you have to start very early, and I have put 80,000 gallons of water down.
Wow.
And if you can picture one truck, the biggest truck we have holds 3,000 gallons, the medium's 2,500, the other one's 2,000. That's a lot of trips back and forth to water the track.
Yeah. You still pump it out of that bottom pond, or can you dump it out of the big ponds now?
The pond, I say it's on the east side where we pump out of. The ones in the middle are just a little too shallow. There's one on the west side, but it's down a big hill. So
yeah, you're not going to drive those trucks up there.
Yeah, those trucks don't have the best brakes. So going downhill with 3,000 gallons of water, it could get kind of ugly.
Leave your windows open.
You better jump out.
Get one foot out to slow it down. So second Saturday, are you staying Saturdays for the rest of the year then, or is it going to go back and forth?
We plan on running Saturdays the rest of the year. We have a mix of other things that we're going to have an ATV race at the end of the year, which is, we call it the Heartland Challenge. It's kind of a national ATV, UTV race. They usually come in Wednesday, Thursday, set up, run Friday, Saturday, clean up Sunday. So they're out there much of the week. We do an Iowa motocross race, like the Iowa Series race, so we're on a schedule with other racetracks. We have a practice Friday night and then race Saturday. Many times the people come in Thursday, hang out Thursday night, Friday morning, practice Friday night, camp out, hang out till the race is the next day, and it's a 3-day event for most of those people.
So if I wanted to bring my RV out, what do I just call you and say?
Yep, call me. I know
run the generator for 3 days, no big deal. But
I run my generator when they're out there because there's only a couple plug-ins. But yeah, on those race nights, even on the circle track car nights, there's many guys that pull a open trailer, even a small enclosed with a motor home, and they may stay overnight and head out in the morning. So far this year, we started right at 7 o'clock, so guys, don't be late if you're coming to the races. But we start right at 7. A little after 10, we've been done. At Brian Denicus, he's my announcer. He is excellent. He will not let me start late. So, if I'm out prepping the track, putting some water down, trying to make some final touches, Brian is on the radio calling me and say, "Hey, Jeff, 7 o'clock. We got to get going."
There's going to be a race car behind you in just a second,
Yes,
so be ready to run.
I have
Run
been out
over,
on the
'cause I'm gonna
track.
say go.
Yeah, it's happened where I've been out there with the tractor or something, and he sends the cars out. "Jeff, you got to get off the track." And I said, "A couple more things. It's going to be perfect." "No, it's perfect now. Let's go."
It's
So,
as perfect as it's going to get.
and he runs a fast, snappy show. I have 2 wreckers out there personally. I have Pat with Weekend Wrecker. He comes out and watches it. That if we have a yellow flag, we're out there pushing the cars off, hooking them up, keeping the show rolling. So, if you come out, be on time, plan to eat out there, and there's usually very little downtime. So we keep everybody entertained and keep it moving.
How long does a race last from beginning to end?
Again, it depends on if there's any cautions, any issues that, if we just picture a 25-second lap time, a heat race is usually 12 laps, a main event's 25 laps. That if you get them out on the track, they take off right away. The races really don't last that long. It could be 5-6 minutes and
wow.
the feature's done. We usually like to get them out on track, bring them around once or twice. They wave to the crowd. My announcer introduces the drivers by number, and so we try and give it enough time for him to go through everybody. Mm-hmm. So sometimes they'll take 2 or 3 warm-up laps as he introduces everybody that's out there. And Brian's excellent. That he'll give a story where they're from, how they're doing in the points. Did they win last night? Are they gonna?
Yep.
Hey, that's a new body, that's a new skin. He just keeps it lively and keeps everybody entertained.
I think sometimes with race cars, it's hard to put the car and the face of the driver together in the name. It's almost like 3 things going through your head. Yeah. And I know a lot of the local drivers. You just know people over the years, but still, I'm like, okay, that's Michael McKay, or that's McHale. This is what he looks like, and this is the car he drives. And trying to keep all 3 of those separate. So having somebody that knows it inside and out to introduce him as it goes by. So each time you're seeing the new, okay, this is the car. That's McHale. That's Tofty.
And probably becomes a fan himself, I'm sure.
It's hard not to.
And Brian Denicus is a big race fan. He announces at my track or Sports Park Raceway on Friday night, over to Hamilton County on Saturday night, up to Mason City on Sunday night. His daughter, beautiful young gal, she sings our national anthem, and if I'm up in the booth, it puts a tear in my eye every time. That she can just, for a young gal, she can just lay it back and puts it out there, and she just never misses a beat. So
that takes confidence, especially for a younger person to get up there and just do it. So.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah, she's excellent. I guess I've seen her. I think she went to what's that big talent show at the Iowa State Fair. She's competed in that.
Oh, the
Bill Riley
talent show. Yeah.
Yeah, she does that, and she is an excellent singer. So to listen to a young gal do the national anthem with her dad in the background, Brian's wife, Christina, she comes and helps in our spectator entrance. She also does a 50-50 ticket sale. So, we basically gather money through the crowd, and the crowd gets a number. We give half the money away to the crowd. When Brian's wife and daughter do it, we have a lot of money in the 50-50 drawing. That they gathered up $800 last Saturday night. We gave away a little over $400. That's huge for a racetrack, and your chance to win. But everybody likes them. They have such a smile. They go through the crowd fast, efficient. They get to know people that if they see Todd over there, they're going to get $20 from him, maybe more. They just, they just know.
I never win, but here's my $20.
Yeah. and they go through the pits. The drivers love them. The pit people love them. I have a Hicklin Power Sports side-by-side they drive through. The group knows when they see those gals, hey, it's time to get our money out and buy a 50-50 ticket. Yeah. And Brian announces it all night. He's like, hey, we got $200 gathered up. We got $300. We got $400. And as the purse or the pot builds, people, they might buy another $20 worth of tickets. Think, it could be.
It's a bigger jackpot. I'm going to buy an extra.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a gentleman, he was selling die-cast collectible cars, and I bought a couple, and we gave those away as a second chance opportunity in the 50-50 drawing. So, we were telling them, don't throw your ticket away. We're going to draw for the 400, but hang on to it. We have some other giveaways that we gave away, and yeah, it went very well.
Good. So how much does it cost to go to the races? I mean,
for your, I won't say average person, 14 and up, we charge $12, $10 for military, first responder groups, seniors $10, and then anybody 7 and under are free.
See, so all your kids could almost be 7 or under. But.
And we don't really ask, that you always have those people come in, like, how old's your child? 7? Really?
They have a beard.
That's a big 7-year-old.
We went to a buffet in Fort Dodge, and I think all the way up until 10 or 11, they charge per age.
Yep.
And so we were like $4.99, $6.99, $8.99, $10.99, and then I went up there. It's like, oh crap.
Oh no.
Is it gonna be $42.99 for me for this buffet? And like, oh no, we cap it off at $15, sir. That's good.
Well, and I've helped take tickets there. So when Todd jokes about trying to do some quick math in his head, when you're doing that and the line's growing, a lot of times people all come at once. When they know we're going to start at 7 o'clock, they're at 6:50. I'm trying to get them through. I'm doing some quick math in my head, like 7, 12, and then you're asking. And you can kind of tell when you ask the parent, how old's your child? He's 6.5. You just know that they're doing some quick math in their head. Are we going to?
And I'm fine with that. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I just.
What is the age for free again? No.
7 and under. Like I say, I love to see the kids there. It's a beautiful big grassy hill. It's kind of an old school property. The kids come out, they bring a football, a beanbag, they're rolling down the hill, they're throwing the balls around that, whether they're 6, 8, and if they have to get in for free, they're in for free. They're having a good time.
Out there. And then
they
you got
become
food,
lifelong
you got good
friends.
food, the snack bar is great.
Yeah.
And cold beer.
Cold beer, food's good. Sherry and Scott Snell run the concession stand, and I just kind of give them free range. She orders what she thinks she needs. She has a relation that grills it. We're grilling it right there, so it's kind of, I don't want to say it's made to order, but it's never sitting there very long. The cheeseburgers are great, the brats are great, the hot dogs are good. We sell chicken sandwiches. They're very tasty. We've done a prime rib sandwich a couple times a year if we can source enough of it at a reasonable cost.
Yeah.
Nothing's reasonable anymore when it comes to food.
No, it's not.
Many people come out to eat, get there a
Make a
little
night of
early.
it.
Yeah, it's.
So what would be the best two? I mean, I know you got a bunch of events come up. What are a couple that people cannot miss?
We do we call it the Marsh Memorial, and it was Dickie Marsh, big race fan. I don't know if I ever went out there when he was alive and didn't see him. And the Marsh family has put together a memorial race. They generate a lot of sponsors. They get a lot of local people who are maybe not race fans, but they're Marsh family fans that come out to that. It's been huge the last few years. And a lot of his friends, when you get to be his age, aren't around, but the families come out, and it's basically a family reunion for the Marsh group. Okay. And they've been big supporters of the track. Carl Marsh owns several businesses in town. He provides the porta potties. As a porta potty goes, they're beautiful. I've been in some bad porta potties, but Goodman's and Services, Carl Marsh, his are nice. And they come out Saturday morning, Friday morning, wherever, have the race, freshen them up. Nobody likes a porta potty, but his are as nice as they get. So we really appreciate Carl, and he takes good care of us.
So when is that event?
The Marsh Memorial is on the 13th of July.
Okay.
So it's coming up. I know the Marsh family's been out getting sponsorships. Like I said, Carl has several businesses, so he hits up some of his associates. There's a lot of family that is involved. They come out, and it's like their family reunion, that they come out early, they hang out, they grill, they have a Marsh Memorial shirt they all wear, get new shirts every year. I try and buy some through the racetrack and sell there. So sometimes there's people that aren't Marsh related wearing the shirts, and it's one of our biggest nights of the year.
Fun.
That's cool. And I haven't talked to Jeremiah about this, but we need to put a couple $100 on some class here for like kids night, because that's always a cool night. So if you want to put $200 down for Talk Fort Dodge on whatever class you want to, I don't have a favorite, even though I like the little tuners because they're fun. Sure. But if you want to put that up there for an extra $200 on one of the classes on kids night, let me know, and we'll support that.
We need to do the dirt truck nights, because I'm going to win one of these dirt trucks.
Oh, okay,
races,
fine.
So I'm going to get your money, I hope.
Let's do $200 on dirt trucks this Saturday.
No, I'm kidding. I'd love to do it to one of the. About the time I win the dirt trucks and get your money, somebody's going to be mad. So I don't want that. I'd love to support the local guys.
There's a bit of a dichotomy between owning the track and running the track, I suppose.
Well, and one of the other big nights is Kids Night, and we have KHI Solutions. They're kind of taking that over this year.
Oh, perfect.
And they have already been out talking to a lot of their customers, friends, family, sponsors. And I think that it will be as big as it has been ever. And like I said, Kids Night's a big night that we do giveaways. We've had bouncy houses, candy, bikes. We do kids rides where we put them on the back of the race cars, the pace trucks, side-by-sides.
You get them going 100?
No. It's always scary
to
be
ride, man.
Sitting on the back of a race car, because sometimes they've been crashed and bent up that they're not like driving in a Jeep Wrangler or something.
Yeah.
But they're open exhaust, they're loud. These kids just love it. And, sometimes we just don't have enough race cars for the kids to ride. So these guys will come around 2, 3, 4 times, pick up another group of kids. And I have a big monster truck that we kind of do for a pace truck, and they'll ride in the back of that. We have a side-by-side that pulls a mobile victory lane sign. It's the Arnold Motor Supply victory lane. We'll get the kids into the trailer. They'll on the side-by-side. They'll sit in the bed, and can't go too fast because these kids just never know.
Yeah,
you don't want them jumping out.
Slow.
But so it's it's not a crawl, but it's not race speed. So they just love getting out in the track. And if you've never been on the racetrack, sometimes you get up on that banking and you're looking down. It's a different experience. So
it's further down than you'd think.
Yeah. So what you see in the stands is not always what you feel as a driver, or even just being on the track. I've had many parents take their kid, hey, can we take a lap around the track as we leave? Yeah, sure. It's just different. Even in your family car going 20 mile an hour around the racetrack, you can envision it. So
you think mine will hold at 100? If it doesn't, we're going to know fast.
You should call Kemna, Fort Dodge Ford, and Shimcat, and we could have a new car challenge. You have to run a brand new car and see how it goes.
Something late model. It's got to be less than 3 years old or something, just for fun.
I'd like to see brand new.
That would be more fun.
That would be very exciting to see.
I'll take a Bronco.
Oh, that'd be slow. I'm with the Corvette.
Yeah, you might want something low profile. Bronco at 100 could be a bad deal.
Yeah, that would be scary. Awesome. Well, I think we've had a great show today. We've talked about a lot of stuff, and we appreciate having you here. And make it out to the races on Saturday. It's just such a cool thing out there. It's so unique. And if you've never done it, do it. If you've done it before, go back out, because Jeff's done a great job out there making it awesome and pouring his heart into exactly what we talk about all the time, making Fort Dodge, Webster County, the greater Fort Dodge area into a better place to live, work, and play. And thank you for everything you do out there, Jeff. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, another fun thing to do every single Saturday night.
It's not every Saturday.
Well, not
usually
every
every other we try and do it. We've had a couple of rainouts that we're trying to reschedule, but it's just tough to work with. You get the fairgrounds, other things going on it's hard to compete with everybody. But I think it is a beautiful place. It's relaxing, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's a wrap at today's episode of Talk Fort Dodge.
Stay connected with us on social media and join us next time as we continue exploring Fort Dodge's stories through the lens of 2 lifelong Dodgers. I'm Jeremiah Condon.
And I'm Todd McCubbin, and this is Talk Fort Dodge.